أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh believers. Among the allegations against the Shia Ithna Ashara Muslims is what we call Bada, the belief in Bada. The enemies of Shia Ithna Ashara Muslims base on this to tarnish them and allege that they have got a lot of bidi and the rest. What are some of the legalities of Bada, the belief in Bada? Before you can look at its legalities, what is Bada? It simply means manifestation or appearance. You understand? And here it applies to the changes in the natural course of someone's destiny as a result of his or her righteous actions. That's Bada. The changes in the natural course, you understand, of someone's destiny as a result of his actions. Let them be good actions or bad. The changes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does to your life is what we call Bada. There is also what we call Naskhu fi tashri'iyat. You understand? Here it means the changes in Allah's rules and regulations to mankind. For instance, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abrogates a verse, he brings another verse. For instance, as we saw those verses regarding alcohol. Quran chapter 4, verse number 43. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to substitute other verses with those ones which came first. For instance, La takrabu salah wa antum sukara. Don't go near prayers when you are intoxicated. Those verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abrogated them and brought verses prohibiting the consumption of alcohol completely. Whenever such changes happen, it doesn't mean that maybe Allah doesn't understand. Allah understands. Alimun Khabir is the most wise. You get it? Is the most wise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But since he's the master of eloquence and the most wise, the philosophy behind such verses like abrogating one verse and brings another one. Give an example. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at one time abrogated the consumption of alcohol at once, due to the fact that the faith, iman of some people was still weak, they could not have accepted Islam. That's the hikmah behind, the philosophy behind, the reason behind such changes. Then Bada, we said, the other one which we said like changing Quranic verses, for instance the consumption of alcohol, and brings other verses which completely prohibits the consumption of alcohol, it is applicable. It is applicable to only Allah's rules, you understand, in Holy Quran. But what we call Bada, you understand, is applicable to human being. For instance, even before you can look at the legalities, you understand? Logic says, if you don't go and fornicate, you will save your life. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible for your life. But logic says, if you don't fornicate, your life will be saved. Because once you fornicate, you may end up contracting killer diseases like HIV and other diseases. These changes you're doing, you understand? Due to your good actions of not fornicating, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases your lifespan. Because if you can't fornicate, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destined that maybe you will stay, you understand? You live for 40 years. If you go and fornicate, or you go and steal someone's property, and they kill you, automatically you've reduced your lifespan. We've got a lot of legalities You understand? We've got a lot of legalities, but for the sake of time, I just look at only 2 verses. In Surah Al-A'raf, verse number 96, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if the people of the city had believed and feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَفَتَحَنَا عَلَيْهِمُ البَّرَكَاتِ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. We would have opened to them the blessings from heaven and earth. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying. Therefore, if you believe, Allah gives you barakah, blessings. That's bada. The changes in your actions, you understand? The changes in your actions causes a change in your destiny. That's what we call bada. Therefore, does not make Shias infidels as claimed by some people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages us to ponder and reflect. Surah Al-A'raf. In case your sheikh says that bada makes the Shias kafir, ask him, what is bada? Let him explain using verses. Let's go further. Another evidence in line with bada is what happened to the respected Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's even happening to Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Yunus, when he was swallowed by fish. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused a change in his destiny due to his actions. Look, Surah As-Safat, verse number 143 to 144, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about bada by saying, فَلَوْلَا أَنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُسَبِّحِينَ لَلَبِثَ فِي بَطْنِهِ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. If he was not one of those who glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would have surely remained in the belly of the fish till the day of resurrection. This is bada. He glorified Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah caused a change to his destiny. Many actions are in legality to bada. You give out charity, Allah increases your sustenance, forgives your ugly actions. That's bada. Surah Tagabun, verse number 17. You help your parents, Allah increases your sustenance. You help your family members at home, you don't fight, you respect your wife, you respect your kids. Allah brings more blessings to your family. That's bada. You give out charity and others, Allah increases your lifespan. Surah Al-Hud, verse number 3. Yumati'ukum mata'an hasana ila ajalim musamma. You understand? He will provide you with a good provision for a specified time in case you give out charity. You do tabligh as we do in guiding others, forgives you. So at Tawbah, verse number 71. You pray on time, he forgives you. And he turns your ugly actions into good ones. So at Furqan, verse number 70 to 71. Blesses you with pious offsprings, increases your sustenance, makes it rain, which reduces the vicious cycle of poverty. So at Nuh, verse number 10 to 12. All those are legalities of bada. Therefore, in brief, bada, those are the changes to someone's destiny due to his good actions. In case you do bad actions, automatically the repercussions will not be good. So that's it briefly. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.